Hello, everyone. Welcome to Magic and Yap. I am Makaela,
I'm Amanda.
and we're here to yap about Disney, if you couldn't tell from the Mickey Mouse sweatshirts and
Yes.
Eeyore here in my lap. We are two childless millennials who like to go to Disney.
Married to each other, if you could not tell.
Yes, we are wife and wife.
Correct.
Yeah, we just kind of, I don't know, we've been wanting to do this for a long time, probably for we've been really talking about doing it for like over a year now,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Yeah, like over a year, but the last
Yeah.
trip we went on, we chickened out
We did.
to do some vlogs, and then here we are.
Yep.
Starting now.
And it feels like a real podcast right now because we've got our mics clipped on chopsticks.
They are chopsticks, correct. You can't zoom in, but if you looked at them, they do have a Mickey Mouse on them.
They do.
We got them from our best friend's mom, Trudy on Duty. We'll tag her down below. No, they went to, was it Tokyo?
Tokyo
Disneyland?
Disney. Yeah.
Is it Tokyo Disneyland?
I just say Tokyo Disney.
Okay. Tokyo Disney. They went to Tokyo Disney to visit their son, who was stationed around there, and brought me back the coolest ramen bowl I've ever seen. And it came with these beautiful chopsticks.
Mhm.
So we are using them today.
We learned that touching the microphones, like holding them, made a lot of noise because they're not incredibly high quality. So yeah, we were trying to figure out the best way to not make a lot of noise. And I came up with the idea of putting it on a fork, but then we were like digging through our utensils and Amanda was like, why don't we put it on a chopstick? So
Here we are.
But maybe this is like a thing now. Every time we record something, we'll attach it to something different. So it won't always be a chopstick. Anyway, I think we've talked enough about the chopsticks.
We did.
We're really nervous. Even though we're literally just talking into a phone at the moment, like
Correct.
It's just the two of us and our dog here in this little apartment hanging out. But this is like nerve-wracking. It's like I've wanted to like vlog since I did my Disney college program in 2016, and I just never like got enough guts to do it. I tried, I made a video, I posted it on YouTube, and then I deleted it promptly after because I got scared. So I've wanted to do this for a long time, which now we're doing it. And if no one watches it, then so be it.
It's for us. As long as we're having fun, that's all that matters. I apologize if the sound is wild on this one. We're balling on a budget and figuring it out.
We're learning. Yep. So
if you're still at this point, thank you for sticking with us.
Yep. Anyway, and we're recording on an iPhone 13 Pro in the year of our Lord 2025. So
yeah, we spend all of our money on Disney. So
we don't have really high quality equipment. Although we did just get a new camera. We bought a DJI Osmo Pocket 2. They're on the 3 right now, and I feel like most vloggers have the 3, but we could afford the 2. So that's what we got.
Correct.
It still is like really good quality. We haven't used it yet. We literally just got it yesterday, but we're planning on using that when we actually go to Disney, which I guess let's start by talking about, should we
talking about us?
Yeah.
Introducing us and why we go to Disney?
Exactly.
It's a great plan.
Okay, who do you want to have go first?
You're the one that started with Disney, so
okay, I'll go first.
Just, a little bit of the story until you meet me.
Okay, I'll give you the abridged version.
Perfect.
So it all started in 1995 when I was born.
Oh my God.
Just kidding. I'm kidding. So it did start in 2008. I went to Disneyland for the very, very first time. Not 2008, 2003. I was 8 years old. I always say that backwards for some reason. I don't know why. It was 2003. I was 8 years old. And I went to Disneyland in California for the first time with my family. We went on like a summer, my birthday's in the summer, so it was like summer vacation. Went to Disneyland and it was a lot of fun, but the very first ride we rode was the Indiana Jones Adventure. And my parents made me take my glasses off because they thought my glasses would go flying off the ride. So I had no glasses. I was like blind on the ride. I couldn't see anything and it was terrifying. And after the ride was over, I said, I'm not riding any other rides on this trip. So we just kind of ran around like meeting characters and that was pretty much it, but it was still fun. And then I hadn't gone back to Disney since, ever since then. When I was 20, so in 2015, I was 20 years old. And I went to Disneyland again and actually enjoyed it this time as an adult because I got to do whatever I wanted. I rode all the rides. Turns out Indiana Jones Adventure is not scary.
No.
And it's like my favorite ride in Disneyland now. But yeah, got to do that. And that was a lot of fun. And after that, sorry, I'm like shaking because I'm like so nervous.
You know what I'm nervous about?
What?
That none of this is recording.
No, it's recording. I can see.
But I mean.
Oh, that the audio?
Yep.
No, the lights are green. I'm sure it's fine.
Well, at some point, I will stop this to double check because I have very high anxiety. And okay. I would hate to go through all of this and be so stoked and
not have any of it record.
Exactly. So, you tell your story, and I will be stopping to check, and we'll be right back after that.
Okay.
Continue. I apologize.
So then I go back to Disneyland when I'm 20, and I only spent a day there. It was just a short one-day trip. But had a lot of fun, got to ride all the rides and everything. And then on that trip, I was in the Emporium and there was a girl that was working and she had like her college on her name tag. And I like asked her about it, like, hey, what's that all about? And she basically was like, oh, I do the Disney college program. So like, you can either take time off school or you can still be in school while you do it. But you basically just come and work at Disney. Some colleges count it for college credit. And yeah, it's just like a really good like opportunity. It looks really good on a resume. And I was like, oh, and I was at a point where I was like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I was about halfway through college and I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing or where I'm going. And so I was like, I'm going to take a break and apply for this program. So I applied for it 2016, got accepted in February of that year, and then moved to Florida, decided I wanted to do the college program in Florida because I had never been to Disney World. I'd only been to Disneyland the 2 times at that point. So I went to Florida in May and then moved, did the whole Disney college program, had a lot of fun. Then I moved back home in 2017.
And then I don't quite come in yet to talk about
not yet,
applying for the next one, but before... Let me talk it before that.
Okay. So it's like a secret. They probably still heard it because these mics pick up everything. Yeah. So I, 2017, come back home, decide I'm going to finish college, and graduated in 2018. But in like January, February of 2018 is when I was like, I'm going to apply for another Disney college program, but this time in California, Disneyland, because I had a big plan of I wanted to try and work my way up to be a college program phone interviewer, like recruiter, because I had such a good experience with my phone interview for my first college program. And I was like, that's what I want to do. So I was like, my in is to do another college program.
Right.
So I applied for one in early spring of 2018, and then
I come along.
Amanda comes along. Well, I graduate from college.
But guess who takes her college graduation picture?
Amanda.
Me. But we did not know each other.
No, we didn't. You were working for
a photography
company that takes like school photos in the area that we live in. And took my college graduation photo and didn't even know each other yet.
Nope.
And then June of that year, I was swiping on Tinder for fun.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't looking for anything. Was just like, you know what? I'm gonna just swipe on some people, see what happens. Came across Amanda, sent the first message because it was a match, obviously. Clearly.
Well, this is a funny story. The family, the Trudy on Duty family, my best friend's mom, all of them. Very close to them all. They're great. Um, Before I met Makaela, I spent a lot of time over at that house. My friend Whitney lived with her sister, and so we spent a lot of time there. Um, and I was also doing the same exact thing, just swiping. I had gotten out of a breakup, and I'm like, you know what? I'm back in my hometown, unfortunately, which I was not happy about, but whatever. So I'm swiping on Tinder, but Shay is her name. Shay is Whitney's sister. Decided that I wasn't swiping good enough, so she took my phone, and she is who swiped on Makaela for me.
Yep.
And so when I got that first message and I saw, your picture pop up, I was like, I don't know who this is. I don't remember. But as soon as I clicked on the picture, and the message that she sent was really funny, like cute, kind of. She said, my Tinder profile picture sounds really douchey. I was holding a baby goat, which I was holding because of my, hi.
Hello.
Because of my job. This, you might not be able to see her.
Our dog is.
She woke up from her slumber.
She was sleeping in the sun. Oh, she's going to go in her KENNEL.
Okay.
There she go. All right.
Perfect.
She had some cotton mouth. She had to come show she had cotton mouth from sleeping.
Now she's back to sleep.
Okay.
Anyways, I had a picture of a goat with myself. And what did you say?
I think it was like, that goat's pretty cute, but you're cuter or something along those lines.
Yes.
Just your standard
one-liner.
Yeah.
Got me.
Not great. In hindsight, I'm like thinking about that. Like, there are so many other things I could have said, but I was also only like 22 years old and was like freshly queer. Like,
correct. You hadn't even come out.
Like the summer before is when I like realized. And so I didn't have a lot of experience. So yeah, I wasn't out to like my family or anything at that point yet.
Right.
Yeah.
You're just figuring it out.
Yep.
Everyone has a different timeline.
Exactly.
So yeah. Swiped, and then we were inseparable from there.
Yep. But I had already been accepted for my Disneyland college program that was going to start in August of that year. And that was one of the first things I told Amanda when we got together was, hey, I'm moving to California and I don't intend to come back to Colorado. We never said that we live in Colorado. We live in Colorado. We never said that. I had no intention of coming back here. I was planning on staying there forever and ever.
Which worked for me, as you heard earlier, we both grew up here.
Yep.
Not a huge fan of it.
Yep.
So when she said, my plan is to stay in California, I was fine with me.
Yep. So then you helped me move down to California with our roommate and friend at the time.
Yes. And that was my first time going to Disney. So
yes, we only went for one day.
Yes. I had never gone to Disney growing up. It just like wasn't a thing. Growing up, I wasn't like a huge Disney fan.
I really wasn't. I mean, like I liked watching Disney movies and stuff, but I wasn't like a diehard like Disney person. I really wasn't. Come like thinking about it now. Anyway, I'm sorry.
I don't know if I believe you.
It was mostly like if I had like Disney decorations, I wasn't the one that picked them out. It was like my mom that picked them out. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have.
But
I don't know.
Like the princesses. Like when I Disney, I mean like typical Disney growing up in the 90s. It was princess movies.
Mm-hmm.
Which, nothing against princess movies. Love them.
Love princess movies.
Yes. However, I grew up and was a big Star Wars fan. So when Lucasfilms was partnered with Disney.
Lucasfilm.
My bad. Lucasfilm. If you stick with us and if we keep doing this, you'll notice I get corrected a lot.
Sorry. It's only because I love you.
And she doesn't want me to sound dumb.
I don't.
I get it.
I don't.
Sometimes I'm like, when you correct me, then you're calling me out. Everyone else is just breezing by it.
Would you rather have me do it, or would you rather have some meanie head on the internet do it?
Well, there's going to be meanie heads anyways.
Well,
we're two lesbians talking about Disney.
I mean, you're right, but...
Anyways, can I finish my story?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. Um, so when they merged together, however that happened, I don't know all the details.
Disney bought Lucasfilm, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Then I just naturally became a fan of Disney because now that's where Star Wars was. I have Star Wars tattoos. You'll eventually see them.
Yep.
I grew up just loving it, reading the books. No one knew there was books back in the day, but in the early 2000s there were books.
Amanda knew there were books.
The Jedi Apprentice. It was great. Comment down below if you read it, if you know what I'm talking about. But that being said, never went to Disney. I have 3 older siblings. They went, but we have an odd family dynamic. So they went before I was born. I'm the little baby. And then met Makaela. And she's like, hey, I'm moving. The intention was not to help her move, but some things her parents decided.
I think they were really busy with work at the time. And they were like, we just don't think that we can, because they helped me move down to Florida. Like when I did my first college program, I was like adamant about taking my car with me. A lot of out of state, like a lot of kids who come from really far away will not bring their cars with them because Disney provides all the transportation basically.
Well, especially in Florida.
Yeah, but I was like adamant, like I want my car. I want to be able to hop in my car and go places. I don't want to have to rely on a bus system to get me to work on time. Like I had just heard kind of horror stories from watching other vloggers that were doing the college program at the time. Like I was researching on YouTube and it was just not they were called TransStar buses and like they would catch on fire and break down. Like it was like a whole thing. And I was like, I'm taking my car. And so my parents helped drive me 3 days across the country to get me down to Florida. And they were like, hey, we can't, like, not that we can't do it again, but they were just really busy with work. And they were like, we just don't think we can do it. And California is not as far away. Like I had made the drive previously to California on my own or like with a friend. So it was really no big deal that they couldn't go with me. And by this point I was 23. So I was older and like had more experience and they felt more comfortable not taking me.
Right.
So yeah.
So when that happened, our roommate and I decided that we were going to help move her down. So we drove and then we only went for 1 day to just Disneyland, not California Adventure. So we helped you move in, went to Disneyland, and I pretty much fell in love with it right then and there. I mean, I think the next few trips are what did it for me when I came to visit you when you were still in California. But like that first trip just made me see how cool, that sounds so cliche, how cool Disney is, but like the just the atmosphere and like how much fun you can have as an adult. Yeah, because that's what I thought. That's what everyone thinks, is that Disney is for children.
Well, like you rode some of those rides. Like we rode Space Mountain and Amanda gets off and she's like, that is not for kids.
Well,
like
first of all, I am a scaredy cat.
Yes.
I don't ride roller coasters.
Not a roller coaster.
Don't ride carnivals.
We'll get into that.
I don't ride carnival rides. I don't do any of that.
Oh, I don't do carnival rides.
And my biggest fear, my biggest thing I kept saying, so our roommate had also been to...
She's just laying in the sun again.
Okay. She'll make an appearance later. But
I'm sure of
it. Our roommate had been to Disney a lot. You had been to Disney a lot. So they knew what the rides would do, what they were, how they went. And the first ride we get on is Pirates of the Caribbean.
Tomato. I feel like when you're a Disney person, you say Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Because that's just like...
That's how it's pronounced.
That's how...
Announce things.
Yeah. But like, if I'm going on a cruise to that region, I'm going on a Caribbean cruise. Like, it's just...
Not Caribbean.
It's like caramel and caramel. Like, you say them different ways in different contexts, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Sorry, we like linguistics.
We is not the right word.
Makaela likes linguistics in this house.
Not me.
Moving on.
I just say whatever.
First ride we rode was Pirates.
And if you have ridden it in Disneyland, you know there are many drops.
There's
3.
2. No. It's 2.
It's
oh,
2
you're
in
right.
Disney
It's
World, 3 in Disneyland.
And if we're wrong,
Well,
no, we're not.
If we're wrong.
If we're wrong.
Sorry. If we're wrong. Too bad.
Exactly. We're not wrong.
But we rode that, and the thing that I kept saying is there a drop in this ride? And they were just quiet. So we're in the ride. I'm like, oh
No, I think we were
ride.
straight up lying. I think we kept telling you no. We were straight up lying to you.
Oh yeah, you're like no drop.
And saying
because
no.
all I saw was Splash Mountain, right? And I'm like, a water ride, big drop. I was right. We're riding, and then you hear "Dead Man Tells No Tales." I don't know if you heard that or not, but I just see this black abyss, and they both are staring at me. They're both like,
we were. I do remember that. I do remember
like,
just looking at you like,
are you staring at me?
Expecting something to happen.
And then it happened. Big drop. I screamed.
Oh yeah.
Screamed. Oh hi.
Big stretch.
But
oh, big stretch.
Anyways, that was the first ride. And then we rode rides all day long.
Come here.
Do you want to come up here?
Come up here. Come on.
Come on.
Come on. Come on. Get
here. I'll move.
Come on.
Okay, now
hop up.
There you go.
She's gonna want to sit in my lap, so
Yep.
Eeyore's gotta go somewhere else. Sorry, Eeyore. This is Nala, by the way, named after Nala from The Lion King.
And ironically, she was my dog in high school before I ever met Makaela, and I named her a Disney name.
And now she our baby.
Yeah, not realizing that it would
She's
carry
Stinky
on
Baby
into our normal life.
Do you have any words for the podcast?
No, she's done.
Okay. She said, I'm out of here.
Bye. All right. Anyways, love Disney now. Went to visit you a few times. Fell in love
You went to
again.
visit me once, and then you came at the end of when I left my program because I terminated early. You came and helped me move back home.
Yeah.
So we went to Disneyland together 3 times over the course of like a 2-month time span because of that. I left in October. I was supposed to stay until the first week of like January, and left in October because I was not having a good time, which that's a story for another day. But
right, yeah, we'll have an episode where you just talk about
my college programs. Yeah, because they're really like defining
maybe you can
points in my life.
I'll just be
that's fine.
Out, eating snacks,
Yeah, that's fine.
Just kidding. I'll be here. I also live here. So.
Yes, you do indeed.
All right.
But yeah,
so
then
anyways,
we've gone on many a Disney trip together since then. We got married into 2021 and honeymooned in Disney World.
Before that, my plan was to propose in front of
in 2020.
Yep.
We were gonna go to Disneyland in June for our 2-year anniversary because we knew after like a month of being together that we were gonna get married. Like, it sounds so corny and cliche when people are like, oh, when you know, you know.
Yeah.
But like for us, it really was like that. Like, we were just immediately so comfortable around each other, and like we were just each other's best friends. I mean, we still are. Yeah. So it was just like really easy to know that like this is who I'm going to be married to.
Right.
But I gave Amanda a 2-year timeline. I said, you cannot propose to me until we have been dating for 2 years. And so our plan, which I knew this is what was going to happen, but in 2020 was our 2-year anniversary. We were going to go to Disneyland in June, and she was going to propose in front of Sleeping Beauty Castle because she knew I wanted a Disney proposal.
Yes.
And then COVID happened, and Disneyland was closed for over a year. And Disney World reopened later that year, I think.
Yeah, well, but as far as Disney goes, I had only ever been to Disneyland.
Not
until we
2019 we went. Yeah,
until we went on a trip to visit one of Michaela's college program friends.
She was my roommate, Brandy.
Yep, she was getting married.
Brandy, if you're watching this, I love you.
She better watch it. Get those views up. No, but we booked a trip to go to Louisiana for that wedding, and I don't know how we're able to afford all of this, but we were like, you know what? Let's just do a Disney World trip because I had never been. All I did was hear about it. We were watching videos on it, and so we went on like a 3-day super speed trip.
a bender, if you will.
It was crazy. And we did not stay on Disney property
No,
because we could not
didn't
afford it.
That's how we afforded it, was we stayed off Disney property. We took one-way flights. Like we took a one-way flight from Denver to Orlando, did Disney World for 3 days, took a one-way flight from Orlando to New Orleans, did Brandy and Chris's wedding, and then took another one-way flight back to Denver, and then drove home from Denver.
Yes.
Like, and then we stayed off Disney property. Chris and Brandy's wedding, we stayed in their house. They had a spare room that they let us stay in, which was really nice of them to do that. So we didn't have to stay in a hotel. I think we were the ones that were traveling the furthest away from the wedding.
Yeah.
I think everyone
Most of
else
them were-
basically lived there in Louisiana, or like came from Texas or something where it was a pretty short drive.
Yeah. Well, and you and Brandy were besties. So.
Yeah, so it only made sense, but thanks. Anyway.
Anyways, so that was the first time I ever went to Disney World, and then I fell in love with that. Mm-hmm. So COVID happens, everything shuts down. I still propose 2 years and 1 day later. So I followed the rule. And
Indeed.
Then we started planned a wedding, and you need to have a honeymoon.
And at the time, it was 2021. We got married October of 2021. But the thing was that a lot of stuff had reopened since COVID, but a lot of countries, if they were having breakouts of COVID, you would get trapped in that country.
Yes. We just saw TikToks of people who are stuck in other countries because they can't fly because they tested positive for COVID. Yeah. So we were just terrified to go out of the country. Honestly.
So then we were looking at cruises, but we were kind of maybe a cruise during COVID's not the best idea. We looked at Mexico, doing an all-inclusive resort in Mexico, but it was the same situation. What happens if we test positive? And we didn't have the kind of money to be able to stay an extra week if we needed to. It was we're going for this allotted amount of time and then we have to come home. So we were what do we do? And at one point we were looking at doing Disneyland Paris.
We were, yeah.
We were pretty set, adamant on that. And then we kind of just realized that's
out of the country,
not going to work. So finally I looked at Amanda and I said, why don't we just, we had joked about it a few times. We were let's just go to Disney World. Ha ha ha, as a joke.
Beforehand, I used to make fun of people like that.
Who honeymooned at Disney World.
Why would you honeymoon at Disney
and
World?
I finally was screw it. Let's just go to Disney World. And Amanda was okay. So we were well, let's book it. And we looked and we saw how much it was. And I was at this point, this was our second time going to Disney World together and we had not stayed on property together. Yeah. And I was if we go, we're staying on property. And I didn't really know. I had only stayed in the All-Star Music and All-Star Movies before, when my family had come to visit me. And then I went on a spring break trip with some sorority sisters in college after my first college program. So that I only had experience with the All-Star resorts. And I was what value resort can we stay in that's not an All-Star resort? And we found Pop Century.
Our favorite.
Which is now our favorite. And I've got little Mickey phone ornament. I'm sure you can see him, but he's chilling over here. Anyway, we stayed in the 70s section in the building that has the giant Mickey phone. If you know, you know. And it was wonderful.
Yeah,
we had a really good time.
I fell in love because of staying at the resort, being in the Disney bubble. I really liked it when we went before Brandy's wedding, but it was so fast that I was just that's a lot, So
yeah.
When we went for our honeymoon and we stayed for, I think it was only 5 days, because since then we have
I think we had 5 days and no rest day.
Yeah, which you'll hear how we feel with that in another episode. Maybe.
Yeah,
who knows? So yeah, definitely fell in love with it. Staying on property. The Skyliner had opened.
Yes.
And for us, Coloradans, it's not scary. I know a lot of people were really worried because
they're what if we get stuck? What if there's no breeze? What if there's no air inside the cabins? And we were we love a gondola.
Yeah, we literally ride them all
not all the time, but
anytime we go to the little mountain towns or
there's gondolas at nice ski resorts and stuff, and it's no
big deal.
Yeah.
You ride chairlifts. I mean, you don't do that. But.
Yeah. Well, and the gondolas here in Colorado are You're going up the side of a mountain. They're a lot scarier than the Skyliner.
Right, that's nice and flat.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
So that was really nice being able to use that. So yeah,
for Epcot and Hollywood Studios, which are our two like favorite parks.
Yeah.
Basically, we love all the parks, but those are like our two favorites now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, that honeymoon trip was good. We both got sick.
I think we were like extremely exhausted from everything because it was like we had the wedding and then the next day we went out and we only had like 2 or 3 days off before our wedding to get things like done and taken care of. And we had family come in from Texas and spent a lot of time with them, which was, it was good and it was fun. But like by the time our wedding came around, we were already tired. By the time our honeymoon came around, we were exhausted.
Yeah.
And now I understand why people get married and then sometimes even wait a couple months to like do their honeymoon. Like I get it. Because we were so tired and we did not feel good. We both got pretty sick. Amanda was having like heart palpitations.
Yeah, it was scary.
Yeah.
But I also was taking like a lot of Advil and Tylenol because I was hurting. Walking that much the first day killed me. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
But yeah. And I had headaches. Ugh.
Well, and then we came back home and some of our family members tested positive for COVID and we were like, maybe we had COVID while we were in Florida and just didn't realize it.
Yeah.
Because we just like pushed through it.
At this time, I don't think either of us had it yet, right?
No, I didn't. I did not.
Until everything was like normal.
Yeah. I think I actually technically, the only time I've tested positive for it was Thanksgiving of like 2022. Yeah. But so we didn't know what having it would be like. We didn't know how it would feel like on our bodies, so we just didn't really know. But
and then we have been many a time since then and have figured out what works best for us. At the honeymoon, I mentioned, I really fell in love with it because we were staying on property, so it was a totally different feeling, I guess you could say. So we continue to go back.
We just love, I don't know, I love like the Disney bubble. The thing is like it just feels, I feel so safe on Disney property.
Yes.
Like I've never been in a bus on Disney property and thought, oh my gosh, this bus driver is a bad bus driver. I've never,
they're a little crazy sometimes, but in my head, I'm like, you know what?
They also kind of like have to be. Yeah. But like, I don't know, like I feel so safe. I don't feel like I have to look over my shoulder to make sure that like no one's following me if I'm in like a dark area of the resort. Like I just feel safe. I feel comfortable there and I have so much fun. And it just feels kind of like you get there and all your worries just kind of like melt away. Like it feels like a vacation too. Like I feel like we go places sometimes, like we'll think about, oh, maybe we should go here on vacation. And I'm like, that's not a vacation because there's no roller coasters to ride.
Right.
Like in my head, I'm like, if we're going to go on vacation, we have to ride some rides. So obviously we have to go to Disney World or Disneyland.
Yeah. There's other places, but why?
We want to go on a Disney cruise. I really want to go on a Disney cruise.
We want to go to Universal one day. We just have such a hard time that if we're going to go there,
we're going to spend as much time
extra days
in Disney World.
In Disney World. We just love it. So we're kind of creatures of habit, and
we are. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, though.
No,
like
there's not.
I think it's fine to. We know what we like, and I think that's okay.
Yeah, we don't have children.
No, we don't. Like I said at the very beginning of this, we're childless millennials. We do not have children. We are millennials. We're technically zillennials. Like we're at the back end of. We're on the cusp of being millennials and Gen Z, but I think I do want to talk about like our upcoming trip that we have. We have a trip coming up.
Maybe we should explain the navigation now and why it has to be different.
So
our ailments.
Our ailments. Okay, so this isn't like hard for me to say. I'm just trying to like find the best way to phrase it. I have type 1 diabetes and I also have, I say celiac disease. I'm not technically diagnosed with celiac disease specifically, but I have a gluten intolerance. that's pretty bad. Luckily, cross-contamination is not a huge factor. Like, it's not a huge issue for me. So if like my corn tortilla touches Amanda's flour tortilla, I'm going to be just fine. I'll have no symptoms from that. But if I eat the flour tortilla, then we're going to have a problem.
Yeah, there will be problems.
So I'm gluten-free, and I have been dealing with kind of an odd ailment the past few trips. It started on a trip what am I trying to say? It started on a trip in 2023 that we went on with Chris and Brandy, my old roommate for my DCP, and her husband and their son. And it was really hard for me to navigate that trip because I was so excited to be there and to have so much fun with them. And I was like sick the whole time, and it was really difficult. Basically, what happens is I get to Florida, like I get off the plane when we get to Florida, and I feel like I'm on like a rocking boat that's like on the water. Like I feel this swaying sensation, and it kind of makes me almost like dizzy, but not dizzy enough to like get sick, like physically get sick. It's just very uncomfortable, and it goes away when I'm in motion. So if I'm in a vehicle, like on a bus, in the Skyliner, if I'm riding a ride, if I'm walking, I don't feel it. But as soon as I sit down in one place, or I'm standing in one place for too long, I start to feel it.
Yeah.
And then when I lay down, like to go to bed at night, like I don't feel it laying down, which thank goodness for that. I could not imagine how hard that would be. But that was really difficult to navigate on that trip. And then this last trip that we took, September of 2024, I had the same issue. It was just the two of us this time. So it wasn't as bad, but I still felt the sensation the entire time we were there. And I had tried to work with my doctor before I went to get on maybe some medicine that might help. And the medicine did not help.
No.
Spoiler alert. And I didn't feel great the whole time. It was really rough, but we kind of just tried to make the most of it as much as we could. This trip, I have higher hopes because since then I have gone through some like rehabilitative therapy to see if that kind of helps with my issues. I've been prescribed some different medication that I can take in the moment to see if that kind of helps. I've also found that it may be linked to anxiety, which I do have anxiety, but I don't have bad enough anxiety that I need to be medicated 24/7 for it. It's just that it's kind of like, I have a baseline of it, and it gets heightened when we go on trips because I'm stressed about like, closer to the trip, I get stressed about money and travel and this and that and blah, 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 blah. So that could be a trigger for it, which is unfortunate. But yeah, this trip, we're just going to try and kind of see how I'm able to handle things because we are going at the end of July. It's going to be hot outside.
We have never gone when it's that hot.
No.
We have only ever gone in September,
October,
April.
Yeah, we went once in April, and that's it. September, October, and April.
Right. So they're all still warmer months. It's not like December, January.
But it's not end of July,
right?
Florida summer heat.
Like, and for us, Florida is hot no matter.
Because we live in Colorado, it's even if it gets up to 103 degrees here, it's dry. It's dry, and you can go in the shade, and the temperature drops about 5 degrees. Right. Florida, it's not like that. No. You go in the shade, and you're still hot. Like it feels the same, and it's humid. The air is thick with 2 C's. Like it's rough sometimes. So I don't know why. I'm turning 30, so that's why we're going. But I don't know why we're. I don't know why. I think we're just gluttons for punishment, honestly.
I mean, my thinking is, I am very much like I'm gonna Google something. So I Googled what's the difference in temperature.
Not a big difference.
September and July, correct. Not a huge difference.
Maybe like a 5 to 10 degree difference.
Right, and I'm like, oh, hot is hot.
Yeah.
Whether it's hot or hot.
Yeah.
If it's in the 90s or the 80s, it's freaking hot.
It's still hot.
So
yeah.
So you're just like, you know what? We're gonna just go in July and see. However, since the dizziness, sickness started during that Disney World trip, we have learned to navigate Disney a little bit differently, and actually have done some of our favorite things because of it.
Yeah.
we do have other things to think about than, a normal couple who may be completely healthy, doesn't have type 1 diabetes, doesn't have, other things. She's not the only one that gets sick. I am also dealing with some body things, autoimmune stuff.
Yeah.
So just, I think more people can relate than I am thinking of, really.
Yeah.
Because I think when we watch like some vloggers or see TikToks, it just seems like everything's fine and dandy. And
right. But it's like you don't know what's going on like behind the camera.
Right.
And you don't know how they're feeling and all that. So.
Right. And I think for us, when we go on this next trip in our vlogging, we are going to be, obviously transparent, but we want to show what we do to navigate it in those times where we don't feel good, or one person is having a rough day, or we can't be in the heat, and here's other things that you can do, stuff like that. So
I think we learned on this last trip, because our honeymoon, we took breaks during the day.
We were just sick.
But it was like we took breaks because we had to, not because we wanted to.
Right.
We were kind of talking about that earlier today.
If we didn't take a break, like
we were gonna like throw up.
I was gonna have like a toddler meltdown.
Yeah, like it was gonna be bad. This trip that we just took in September of 2024, we kind of learned that going back to the hotel midday, taking a break, getting in the pool, which that trip was the first time we'd ever gotten in the pool at Pop Century. We'd stayed there 4 times.
I was gonna say, we never said since we've stayed at Pop Century, we have not stayed anywhere else.
No, we just love it. Yeah, we want to stay in other places, but every time it boils down to it, we're like, let's just stay at Pop Century. Yeah. Like it's just so fun. Like the vibes are just so good.
It just feels like home to us.
Yeah,
which
it feels, that's a good way to describe it. It feels like home.
If you go to Disney a lot, you get it.
If you have a favorite resort, you find that resort that just really feels like home and you just stick with it. Yep. But yeah, we kind of learned that like going back, going to the pool, even sometimes even just going and sitting in your room, taking all your clothes off, letting them air out a little bit because you're hot and sweaty, and then just sitting in your room, hanging out on your bed for even just like 30 minutes to an hour. Like it doesn't have to be anything crazy. You don't have to go back and stay in your room for 5 hours, but going back and just sitting in the AC for a little while and just like recharging a little bit, refreshing a little bit, helps you feel so much better when you do go back into the parks. But yeah, I think this trip we're definitely doing things differently because we're going to try to manage the heat as best we can.
Yes. But we're also going in with realistic expectations.
Yes, we know it's going to be hot. We know we're going to be sweaty.
Right.
We know that it may be miserable at times. Yep. And if that's the case, we're just going to attempt to make the most of it.
Yeah,
I think
we always have the best time regardless of what's going on. Like when you really think about it. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting.
Yeah,
but we are doing things differently. We got more park ticket, more days.
Yeah. So this trip, most trips in the past, we've only been, we'll do like 5 to 6 park days, and have like a rest day, or we just have the 5 park days and we just blaze through them or whatever. But this trip we are doing 8 park days.
Sorry,
CP.
It doesn't have caffeine in it, but I'm gonna take a drink.
Okay.
While you're talking.
We are doing we are doing 8 park days and 2 travel days. So like traveling there, 8 park days, traveling home. We don't have a day where we're gonna have like a rest day where we didn't buy a park ticket. We originally, I think, were looking at doing 6 park days and a rest day, so having like a 7-day trip. But then we looked, and to add on another park day, it literally was an extra, I think, $100 total. 2 park days.
6 days, but now it's 8.
It was like $100 total for park hoppers, and we were like, why wouldn't we do that?
Thousands of dollars. We might as well add an extra 100.
You might as well add an extra 100. Yeah.
2 more days.
We sound so bougie and rich. We're not. We're very middle class. Very middle class.
We pay for our Disney trips with our tax returns
and
bonuses.
Yep.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So we really depend on We are very normal people.
We are.
I think that's what it boils down to. We're very normal people. We both work full-time jobs.
Yeah, because like the stigma is always that like, you know, people who go to Disney World have like tons of money, and it's like, yeah, maybe the people who are going and staying at the Grand Floridian for 10 nights and like
Club
have
33?
going to Club 33 and doing all this extra stuff like the fireworks cruises and things, but like we're staying at Pop Century, you guys. We're staying at Pop Century. Come on. We don't have that kind of money. We don't have Grand Floridian money. We don't even have moderate resort money, if I'm being honest. We are value resort girlies through and through.
Correct. Our goal is to stay at every Disney resort.
And also it's like a bucket list thing.
And also visit every Disney park around the world. Who knows when we'll get to those parks outside of the United States. But you guys will be able to come along with us now.
Yeah, because we're going to vlog. It's crazy. It is crazy. Oh, we were talking about our strategy we need to get back on track. We got way off track for Disney World this time. We're not going to go like super in depth. Yeah, we're doing 8 days. We're not taking a rest day, but we are going to rest every day.
Correct.
So kind of our plan is to rope drop as much as we possibly can.
We have, I think I've rope dropped like twice with you. I say
it's hard.
I've only been with you, but
I have a hard time waking up. You know those memes that's like, I'm not a morning person, but I am at Disney. I'm not a morning person any time ever. It's a little easier at Disney, but it's almost actually harder because it's like we never have snacks in the room that I can eat. Like I wake up and I need to like eat something.
Yeah.
And so I'm always like, oh, let's do a mobile order and get like some Mickey waffles from like Everything Pop. But like, I don't know. Rope dropping is just like, it's kind of difficult for me just because it's so hard to get up, get ready, and like be out the door and on time.
Well, and you take a while to get ready. You don't do like a full face of makeup.
Oh no,
do like
it's too hot for that. No, hair goes up in a claw clip.
But
yeah,
for me, this is what I look like at the parks. I have shorts on, a t-shirt.
You open your eyes and you're ready to go.
Right. I
open my eyes and I gotta put my contacts in, and I gotta brush my teeth, and I gotta brush my hair, and I gotta put sunscreen on my face, and I gotta put sunscreen on my whole body, and like it's a whole ordeal. And then I gotta pick out my outfit.
That's what it takes forever.
Yeah, the outfit usually takes the longest.
Yeah, because you have to match the ears.
And then if I need to switch which bag I'm using, then I gotta move all the stuff from one bag into the other bag. It's like a whole thing.
So yeah, you'll see when we are vlogging, but typically we have a little routine I think set now where you kind of get ready, I get up, get ready right away, and then go get us food.
Yeah, so we can like eat.
And honestly, it's kind of, I don't think I've even ever told you this, but this last trip when I was doing that, when we realized that was like the way to go about it and still get into the parks at a decent time, I really enjoy walking. At this time, Pop was undergoing their refurbishment, and they were doing the food court. So everything was only mobile order, and so I would mobile order it, but then the coffee bars that were usually in Pop, there was just like a few of them. And so I would always go to the outside to the Petals pool bar, which is like one of our favorite places.
We love the Petals pool bar.
Yes. The drinks there, perfect.
Top notch.
Coffee, it's just black coffee, and
it's not for me.
I put in some half and half in sugar.
I'm a sweet coffee girl.
Basically, I just love like waking up. This last time we stayed, what is it?
We were in the 60s this last trip. We had a preferred pool view room. We were on the 4th floor of the 60s section, and we were like right in the middle of the building too.
Yeah.
So it's like in the middle of the buildings is where the stairwells are. I mean, there's a stairwell on the ends, and then there's one like in the middle. We were in the middle, and that's where like the giant character was. Yeah. In the elevator, we had Mowgli and Baloo outside of ours, and we had the perfect view of the pool. It was incredible. And we were like equal distant from the Skyliner and the food court and like classic hall. Yep. So, Jinx, you owe me a Dole Whip. I don't know. I said Dole Whip because it's on your hat.
You don't even eat Dole Whips that often.
I'm a float girl. I like a Dole Whip float.
And she likes.
My hip is real tight right now. We're not talking about that. No. Yeah.
In the mornings, it was really nice to be able to like walk to go get that food and everything because it's quiet. Mainly the time that we were waking up and she was getting ready, a lot of the rope droppers were
gone already.
And then a lot of the people that you saw were like families with their children getting ready to go. So the children are like in a good mood because it's first thing in the morning. They just got food. Yeah. And are chilling.
Me.
They're in the stroller. So yeah, it's like very peaceful. Even though there are some people around. You know, the pool's not open yet, so it's not crazy. But that was honestly one of my favorite parts of this last trip. Yeah. Was going to get my coffee by myself and pick up our food. Just like, I don't know. It's like
that meme where you're like, I'm spinning like a ballerina, and then I'm in the bathroom getting ready, like with mascara. I'm like, dun, 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 like freaking out, going as fast as I can, like waiting on my Mickey waffles to be delivered to my room.
Delivered by her wife.
Yeah. So, yeah. I think we're gonna try and rope drop as much as we can, and then we'll probably spend like a good chunk of the morning in the parks. And like early afternoon, maybe we'll eat lunch in the park. But if at that point we're tired and we're hungry and we just want to get away from all the people, maybe we'll eat lunch back at Pop, or we can go. I mean, we're staying on the Skyliner, and we've never really made use of the Skyliner in the sense of going to other resorts to like eat and like use their amenities also. So it's like we could go to Caribbean Beach and get food, or we could go to the Riviera.
Yeah, we basically were going to do things differently this time.
Yeah, and probably spend time at the parks once the sun goes down too.
Yes.
Like we'll probably have longer breaks during the day than we've ever had before. Mm-hmm. But we learned that we really like getting in the pool last trip. Yeah. So we'll probably utilize the pool a lot more this trip, which will be nice. It's nice to take that break. And like, even though you're still out in the sun, like it's just nice to get in the pool and like be in the water for a little bit. We don't really like sit by the pool. We go to the pool, we get in the pool, we get out of the pool, we go back to our room and we shower.
Yeah, like we get in the pool, sing songs.
Yeah, because they play like music at the pool. Musical. Yeah, that was pretty cool, honestly.
So yeah, that's why we got 8 park days. Well, that's not why we did it, but we decided if we do 8 days instead of doing 2 rest days and 6 park days, we were just going to get a ticket for every day and take longer breaks every single day, or be okay with taking a longer break.
And maybe not feel so rushed trying to get things done in the parks. Like so often we end up trying to do so many things like right at the beginning of the trip, and then
we put it off thinking running around.
Yeah. Because we put it off at the beginning of the trip thinking like, oh, we'll do that towards the end of the trip. Yeah. And then the end of the trip comes, we have 1 day left and we're like, crap, like this ride. There's so many rides we didn't go on, or there's so many things we wanted to do that we didn't get to do, or there's merch that I was like, oh, I'll buy that later in the trip, and I should have just bought it right then and there. Like, yeah, we're just really bad about time management sometimes when it comes to that. So maybe and I think we kind of have the mindset on this trip of like, if there's something that we want to do, we need to just do it when we think about it and not put it off for later down the road in the trip.
Break because we have drinkies in our resort mug,
in our park resort mugs, which we will talk about these in some video, I'm sure, and like how awesome these are. But hey, cheers me. Anyway, sorry. I have Sonic Zero Sugar Cherry Limeade, like Crystal Light mix in mine.
I have pineapple Fanta, which I usually get at Disney World. So I resonate just Fanta in general with Disney World, but pineapple Fanta specifically, and we can't figure out where I get it. Like, being here at home, I was talking to her the other day, and I'm like, hey, I always get pineapple Fanta in Disney World. Where do I get it? And neither of us can remember.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
We've gotten banana Fanta slushy that one time.
I mean, I wonder if they have like a pineapple Fanta float or something.
I wonder if it was like a flower and garden or like a food and wine thing.
Yeah, it could be.
That's another thing. This trip, there's no Epcot festival.
But yeah.
Epcot's going to be naked, which feels very weird.
Sad, but we're going to make the most of it and spend a lot of time doing other things that we don't usually do, because we definitely enjoy the festivals a lot. We like to eat the food, the drinks, so we miss out on like the staples that are in each country, or
because we end up eating like just eating from the like festival booths or something. Anyways, cheers. Our Disney Resort mugs. Oh,
you're not gonna take a drink? Okay.
Might be. Okay. So we're going to wrap this up. I had one more thing I wanted to say.
Okay.
And I'm really trying to think of what it was. What I was going to say. We never fully disclosed like what it is that why we're doing this, like what it is exactly that we're doing.
Like what our channel is?
Yeah, so basically what the whole purpose of this is, obviously we want to vlog our trips, but we only take 1 to 2 Disney trips per year, if that. We live in Colorado. We're not annual pass holders. We're not DVC members. We're average Joes who like to go to Disney. We do prioritize it over other vacations. We go on other little trips here and there, but Disney's like our main vacation every year, whether it be Disneyland or Disney World. Yep. We have not been to Disneyland since 2022. So it's been a few years. We do have plans to go to Disneyland for Amanda's birthday, which is February of 2026.
Yes.
When Amanda turns 30. So we're doing Disney World for my 30th, Disneyland for her 30th. And we don't have that booked yet, but it's a loose plan at the moment. Yeah, it's in the works. But in between then, we do this like every single night. Yeah, like we literally just talk about Disney all the time. And it's not our whole personality. Like,
no,
we have other like personality traits for sure.
Right.
But Disney's a really big part of our relationship and our personality. Like, it plays a really big role in our everyday lives, believe it or not. And it's fun to just sit and like talk about Disney. Like, we'll sit and we'll talk about past trips, we'll talk about future trips, we talk about things that happened to us on past trips, or we talk about like when there's changes in Disney, we talk about that, or I don't know, there's so much that we talk about when it comes to Disney. And I think that some people, the right people that enjoy this kind of content will find us.
Right.
Some people like to just have things like this on in the background. You are a prime example. When Amanda's cooking dinner, a lot of the times she'll turn on a podcast of people and just put it on in the background and just listen to it while she's cooking or driving or whatever the case might be. Like, the right people who care about this kind of content will find us.
Right.
And yeah, this doesn't feel as scary anymore. Now that we've sat and like done our first episode, I low-key am like, after we cut this, do you want to go ahead and film the next one?
We'll change clothes and do the next one. I need to make dinner.
I know. It's only 4:00. We got plenty of time.
In this household.
We do. We like food here.
I love it.
That's one of my favorite things about Disney too, is the food.
Correct. And if someone tells you their food sucks,
they are not eating the right food, because there's so many places to eat in Disney. Like, if all you're eating on your Disney World vacation is chicken tenders and French fries, you're doing it wrong. Like,
correct. Not that there's anything wrong.
No, we love a good Disney chicken tender and French fry, a gluten-free one.
One like every day.
Basically, that's like our That's like our bedtime snack. Yeah. Is like, we come back from the parks to Pop, we go to Everything Pop to Classic Hall and get ourselves some chicken tendies. We take them back to the room, we devour those chicken tendies, and then we shower and we go to bed. It's like our nightly ritual. Like, we love a chicken tendy. But people who complain about theme park food when they go to Disney have not been doing Disney the right way. So
no.
And you'll see that in our vlogs when we vlog our actual trip that's coming up. Our trip is like 127 days away.
I know, which seems like a long time,
but it's not. It's literally 4 months.
I know. If I look at it on a calendar, any time that we're going on a trip, I try to see, the way that I gauge how far away it is how many paychecks am I getting before that. Not a lot. I think there's
like 8 paychecks before then.
6 or 7. We won't complain that much.
No. All right. I think it's time for us to sign off. Yes. We've been chatting for an hour.
Yes. Well, and
we can always continue the chat, just you and me, after this.
We can. We probably will.
Probably, while you're making
and
dinner.
And then we'll say, oh, we should have filmed that.
I know.
But until our trip, we plan to continue making these little, are we calling them a podcast?
It's kind of, this is basically a podcast. That's literally what we're doing. I'm just not uploading the audio onto like Spotify or something because I
We don't know how.
don't know how. No,
Maybe
we're
one
not
day.
that smart.
Maybe one day if everyone loves us, we'll do it. But
yeah.
So we'll make some more and upload them, and hopefully you guys will enjoy them. And if you don't, I don't care.
Yeah. Our goal is kind of like one per month until our Disney trip, but we'll probably end up doing more than that. Yeah, because now after doing this, I'm like, wow, this was easy.
Seriously, apologies if
there's any weird sounds.
We're new. We're trying our best. We will evolve. We are not insane. The definition of insanity. That's not us.
No, we will learn from our mistakes. Change. Yeah.
But
do you want to share where your hat's from?
Oswald and Sons. Love them. I also have the Oga's Cantina hat. Maybe. Oh yeah, let's do that. How about we do that for each one?
What? We'll wear, like an OOTD, an utada, if you will.
Yeah, but you don't have to stand up. We just keep dragging this on. Anyways, Oswald and Sons.
Quick utada before we go.
And this is from Disney World,
Walt Disney
our most
World.
recent trip. And it is the Play in the Parks Mickey hoodie. And I love it. And I was going to get the Minnie Mouse crew neck, but I didn't because I opted for this instead, which is the Walt Disney World, just kind of basic crew neck, if you will. Yep, she's a classic girl. Yep, I like a classic crew. Hoodies are hard for me sometimes because my hair gets like all up in them and it's like sensory overload and I can't handle it. I feel that now. My hair's too long. Yeah. I don't have any other Disney stuff on. We just have little cherry blossom Eeyore here from Shop Disney and our resort mugs, and that's about it. All right. Well, here's us signing off. Thanks if you made it this far, thank you so much for sticking around. I'm sure I'm going to watch this back when I'm editing and I'm going to be like, wow, we were just babbling the whole freaking time. Right. But that's why we named it Magic and Yap. Yeah, because we're literally having yap sessions. Like, we're just yapping. Just talking. We are yappers. If anything, I'm mostly a yapper. As you probably saw during this video. I do like to talk too, but I probably did about 80% of the yapping, I think. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to go. Yeah. We're going to take our dog outside. Yeah, she's been walking around, so she'll probably do that. She'll probably be with us in the next video, maybe. Yeah, we'll have to introduce her. I thought she's coming up here. I know. We'll make a little bed for her, lay down a blankie, and she can snuggle. Yeah, that'll be pretty cute. Alrighty. All right. I don't really know what to say other than... I don't either. I was about to say, all right, love you, bye. Like I'm hanging up the phone. I was just going to do what I see everyone else do. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Yeah. Oh, should we do like a fun comment down below? Okay, if you made it to the end of this video... comment your favorite obscure emoji down below and tell us. Huh? Where'd you come up with that? I don't know. Just came up with it. And tell us what your favorite Disney snack is. Yes. And if you've never been to Disney, tell us what you would want to eat if you go to Disney. What snack you want to try. Everyone knows that of certain snacks in Disney. Yep. All right. That's it. Thanks for joining us on Magic and Yap. Thanks. Bye. Bye.